Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we are doing a 2 looks 1 palette slash review on the Natasha Denona Gold palette. Miss Rachel got this for me for Christmas, and because I'm perfect. No. But if you're interested in a review and if you're interested in seeing how we got these looks, then just keep on watching. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to use my Smashbox Photo Finish. Shut up, I'm sick. So to start off, I'm going to use my Smashbox Photo Finish Lid Primer in Light. I am quite sick at the moment, so if my voice sounds, scary, that's why. But I'm just going to prime my eyelids with this before we go into the palette. And also, if my skin looks really greasy, it's because it's so dry I cannot powder it right now. My whole life is a mess currently, so just pretend it's not, I guess. Okay, so to start, I'm going to go in with my Morphe JH35 brush and this little shade right here below the mustard one. And I'm going to go ahead and put that into my crease. These are super pigmented and powdery, so just be aware of that if you happen to purchase this palette. They will have some fallout, so you just have to be a little gentle with them. If you can hear anything in the background, my dad is watching Lord of the Rings in the room next to us, so I do apologize in advance for any background noise you may hear. But I'm just patting this color on the lid. I find that with these shadows, if you try and blend on top of a base you haven't set yet, they get kind of funky. So next I'm going to go in with the mustard shade right above it and kind of work on blending it now that we have something packed down. Then I'm going to go in with the JH34 brush. It's just like a clean blending brush. I'm going to go over the edges as well, just because these shadows I find are a little bit funky in certain areas for me. I don't know. And then I'm going to dip back into the mustard and continue to blend that with this brush. And then with the original brush we were using, I'm going to dip into this shade right here, and then I might dip into the dark brown eventually. But I'm just going to work on the outer corner now, so try and deepen it up a little bit. And these shadows do translate darker than they look in the pan, because you don't really think you've got very many deep shadows in here, but they actually turn out pretty deep. So and then just going back in and blending it out with that other brush we used. And then we'll go in with that deepest brown right there and place that on the outer corner very carefully, because this brown is really dark. I'm just going to dip back into that mustard shade again and blend right over the edges again. I do wish this palette had some more warm tones, because I feel like all of the mattes turn out kind of neutral on my eyes, and it's a gold palette, so I wish it had some more actual yellowy tones, because this mustard tone doesn't translate very golden on me. On this Luxie 121 mini tapered brush, I'm just going to kind of go in with a couple of the different transition shades we used and smoke that under the lower lash line. For my eyelid, I'm going to go in with this dark brown shimmer in the corner here and carefully pack that all over the eye, avoiding as much fallout as possible. If I get some, then I get some. There's nothing we can do about it. I'm too dry to swipe it away. So we're just gonna try on this little dead BH Cosmetics brush we got a while back. So okay, we're good. And then to make this not the most boring look in the world, we're gonna put this really pretty bright gold on the inner corner. This is probably one of my favorite colors in the palette. I think it is to die for, and it's not like sheer. Some of the other colors are a little bit like, they're like topper colors. This one, he's just pow right off the bat, and I think that it's gorgeous. So I'm just gonna put that in the inner corner and build it up slowly for safety reasons. And you know, I think I'm gonna swipe that on the lower lash line as well. Just right in the inner corner. Then using that same Luxie 121 brush, I'm going to dip into that darkest brown again that we used and smoke that on the lower lash line for a little bit of depth. Okay, so I'm going to go do my other eye off camera, and then I'll be back at the end of the video and we can kind of give our final thoughts and all of that on the palettes. Alrighty, so I'm going to be doing the second look here with the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I'm going to first start off with the mustard shade here, which is called Dijon. Rachel said on her it doesn't translate very warm. On me, it translates mustard, so I really love this palette. I do. There's a hair in it. But yep, I'm going to start off with that shade on a Morphe M514 brush. And I'm going to put that in my crease. I have primed already with my Catrice Prime and Fine eye base. So I got her done. These hoops are so goddamn heavy. I'm gonna die, but I love a hoop, so I'm just gonna put that in the crease and blow it out pretty far. Oh jeez. And I'm gonna build that up a couple of times. This little flappy sheet in here is so annoying, but I find it's kind of necessary for Natasha's shadows because they're very fragile. They're just very special too, so I just want to keep it there to protect them. I'm going to take that shade called Log on a JH40 brush, and I'm just going to put that mostly on the outer corner, but also blend it into the crease. I'm going to tap off the excess on that as well. I'm just going to go back in with Dijon on that same fluffy brush that we used earlier and blend out the edges to that. Go in with Log again, and I'm just going to like really pack it kind of like a wing sort of shape, like just down here. I like this shape on my eyes. I think it's flattering. What the heck just happened? That looks very strange. Okay, there we go. Just had to blend it a little, I guess. I'm going to take some of the NYX glitter primer on just this Morphe flat brush. It doesn't have a name. It came in like a vegan set. It's part of their, like some of their old brushes. I don't know if they still have these available, but any flat brush will do. I'm just going to take some glitter primer. Oh my god, that was way too much. This could work for 6 eyes. But I'm going to take some of that on the brush and sort of use it as like a cut crease sort of base for the shadow we're about to use, because it's very textured, so you do get a lot of fallout even with the glitter primer, but it does help it adhere significantly. So and then on a different brush, this is a brush from Morphe. It came in some sort of set, but it has the big letters on it. Came in like a smaller set. I'm going to take the shade Brass down here, which is one of my favorite shades in the palette. It just has so much texture to it and dimension. And I'm just going to load that up on my brush. It does work better with your finger, but they're really soft, so you can use a brush with them with not a ton of problems. And I think with this one it looks best when it's precise because of so much of the texture in it. And I'm just gonna like pat that on. And then I'm just gonna go back in with a log and blend out the edges on the side here and deepen it up a little bit. I do think this palette could benefit from a matte black. I'm just saying. I know that is my opinion on every palette, but you really, I guess you don't necessarily need one because I have a matte black in like every other palette I own, but I think it's nice to have everything all in one, so that's why I say that. And if you're going to be investing in a palette this expensive, then it's nice to have kind of all your bases covered that way. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my base off camera, and then I'll come back and finish up the lower lash line and the inner corner and things. So hold tight. Alrighty, and we're back. So I'm going to go into the shade, what is this called? Python, which is like the deep blue, green, navy sort of color. And I'm going to take that on this, the Vintage Cosmetics Step 1 brush. Step 1 for the money. And I do have a navy liner in my waterline. I'm just going to smudge this shade all over the lower lash line. And get it in my eye, apparently. And then I'm just going to take the shade Dijon and smoke it out even further. And my eye is watering, so if things get a little funky, that's why. I can't get over the watery eye stage right now. I don't know what's happening. And then on just a little flat brush, I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Lime Chrome. It's like the most beautiful like topper shade. Ooh, I love it. And I'm just gonna place that just on like the little inner third of my lower lash line. And get that one in my eye as well. Jeez, goodness. And then for my inner corner, there's not a ton of like light, bright inner corner shades, but the shade Cava, right here, oh god, right here, this works really well as an inner corner on me. It is a little more of a topper shade, but I'm just going to take that on a Morphe E17 brush and pop that on my inner corner. And yeah, I'm just going to throw on some lashes, and then we will both be back to finish up our final thoughts on the palette. Okay, so we already filmed this little outro here, but we're going to redo it. Excuse the voice, it's getting worse as time goes on. But yeah, to sum up our thoughts on the palette, Vic likes it a lot more than I do.
I love it.
I think it's gorgeous. I think the shimmers are beautiful, but they do separate on my eyes. I've tried every eye primer. I don't do my foundation last anymore, so I don't use setting spray on top of the eyeshadow, which I find has creases a lot because we use like dewy setting sprays a lot of times. And I mean, the mattes are gorgeous. The mattes do blend really well. I just find they're a little bit grabby if you don't set your primer, which annoys me because I never set my eyeshadow primer. And I have tried setting my eyeshadow primer and the shimmer's still creased, so don't come at me. But I think that this palette's beautiful, and if you like the color scheme, it may be worth it if you're kind of like a bougie little thing and you want to spend 130 bucks on this. But in my opinion, it's not worth it. I think the colors are unique enough that if you really love like Natasha shadows, like it's worth getting. But for me, it's not my cup of tea. She's upset about this, but I think that it's good. It's good.
I love and cherish this palette with everything in me. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. We have the blue brown palette, which I got for Christmas last year, or the year before technically, since it's 2019 now. But anyway, that one is good. It's not worth the money in my opinion. I still enjoy having it, but I would never buy that one, especially because it's like $200-something. But this one, at a steal of $130, I just think it's so special. Like, all the shimmers are gorgeous. You have the really pretty topper shades. Even the mattes, even though they don't look very deep, you can build them up and they get very deep very quickly. I do think it could benefit from a matte black and maybe a better inner corner highlight, because this one is really your only option. This is just a sheer topper shot. I have shit on my finger. This is... I don't know why it looks like that. I think it's just because there's crap all over the top of it, because I use it as a topper shadow.
There we go.
It's kind of just like similar to like a Fenty Diamond Bomb sort of
Vibe.
topper, you know? But I love this palette, and I'm really glad to have it. Had I not gotten it as a gift, I would have purchased this on my own after my Novi ended. But I love it so much. I think it performs beautifully, so...
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel, and comment down below if you do have the palette or if you've been like eyeballing it and what you kind of think about it. You can also follow us on Instagram at Twintorials. We post there like every day.
All the time.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.